So my name is Fahad Siddiqui, and I'm originally from Pakistan, and been in Saudi for the last 9 years now. What I do is a lot of crazy things in one of them being construction and fit out, which is our industry. So we do a lot of design and build of a lot of banks and a lot of retail outlets that you see, malls, mini malls, plazas, back offices, commercial spaces, industrial spaces, sustainable spaces. We do a lot of sustainability now. And so yeah, it's an interesting time to be doing this in Saudi Arabia. My father had developed a company, but he was in his retirement age, and then kind of got blackmailed into coming here because of parents aging. But I didn't know that the day I'm going to come, the next day he's going to take a flight back. So that was like baptism by fire for me. It's like throwing you in the middle of the sea and saying you either learn to swim or you die. So it was a lot of challenges that we faced, and yeah, that's how basically I ended up in Saudi Arabia. But an amazing decision, because we didn't know how much the market is gonna change over the years, and I've seen that transformation happen in front of my eyes. What's happened in the last 8-9 years? It's been phenomenal, and nobody expected it. Saudi Arabia is globally that now they're opening up themselves to the world, and everybody knows what's happening in Saudi Arabia. About Saudi, you would never know unless you came here. So yeah, just like anybody else would have an impression about, or how Messi just did an advertisement of breaking all the taboos with those 6 goals that he did. That's the impression we had of Saudi. But when you actually come here, you realize that there's so many amazing things happening on ground, such amazing people, such an amazing localities, and they're warm, welcoming people. So yeah, that was something that we did not expect. And the world is just finding out about all of this now, but we know it, from before this whole transformation that happened. So yeah, it's been like that. It's just that the world knows about it now. My experience so far in the kingdom has been a bittersweet, because you get homesick when you first come here, and then by the time you start living here and developing your own business and in the daily struggles, and your mind still tells you that you're homesick, but when you go back home, then you start missing Saudi. So when somebody asks you, where do you live, it's kind of a question that we no longer know how to answer, because we consider this home and then we consider that home. So when you're there, you call this home, and when you're here, you call that home. So it's funny, but it's the truth. We're genuinely so happy to be contributing to the Vision 2030, and even if it's something that even if you put like a brick piece into one of the buildings that are related to the Vision 2030, I think it's such a transformational, historical thing that we will be telling this heritage of our contribution to the Vision 2030 for generations to come, to our children, them to their grandchildren, and them to their grandchildren, that there was a time where Saudi changed so much, and they changed the whole GCC, not only Saudi. As the Crown Prince says, we are going to be the new Europe and even better. My journey in Saudi Arabia has been all across the kingdom, because we're into the construction and fit out and design and build sector. That's our business. So for that, we have to travel to small villages, remote areas, places like Jizan, all the way then Eastern Province, Upcake, and all across the kingdom, Sakaka, Jove, name it. So I've traveled all across Saudi Arabia, and one thing I see in common is the hospitality of the locals, that they're so warmly welcoming. I'll give you an example. We were doing a project in Bureda, and the neighbor decided that the project is for 9 or 10 months. And for the whole 9 and 10 months, he said, there is no way that I'm going to let you guys feed the labor. So he took care of, providing food for the laborers for the whole construction duration. So that was something so nice and so sweet. And regardless of whether the labor was Muslim or non-Muslim, they didn't care about it. So it was just because they were neighbors. So that was such a warm gesture, and we feel that in every single area, every single village, every single city of this beautiful country. So that's one element that hasn't, the world has not experienced it. So I've traveled across, in Sakaka, then Al-Ula, and, experiencing all these historical places. And then obviously the religious historical places that Saudi Arabia has is, no match for any other country, where we have the religious Makkah and Medina. And then the places, historical places attached to that, which are rich Islamic history and the culture which we're so close to, when we portray that to our kids and their kids, and keeping the Prophet and those Ashaba as the role models, and how their places have been preserved by the Saudi government. It's amazing to see that. And you fantasize when you go there, you see your own heroes, and when you're in front of them. So yeah, it's been amazing how they've preserved all of that, and we celebrate that, and it's one of the things that keeps people coming. Riyadh is one of the mega cities of the world, and it's growing at an exponential pace where I don't think any city in the world is gonna be able to keep up with Riyadh. And if they have to, they have to step up their game and come up with their own vision. And vision is only a vision if there is no plan of action and the muscle and the planning and the energy behind it. So this has been so beautifully done by the leading team of KSA, that they've turned that vision into reality. And the crux of it comes to Riyadh, because Riyadh is going to be the global hub of everything. Now with Expo 2030 announced for Riyadh, we are seeing things that we could not imagine. It was nowhere in our grammatical or graphical presentations or calculations with what's happening here. Exponential growth, all four corners are being stretched, and with a plan. The way Riyadh has hosted all of these big events so far clearly tells us one thing, that we are fully ready and equipped and muscled with the ability to host gigantic events like the World Cup, which inshallah is coming our way, with the Expo 2030, which has already been awarded. See, what they've really focused as a Riyadh, the city and the planning, is the research says that a human being, and because I belong to the design and build industry myself, 92% of the time we spend is indoors. And if you're gonna sell this city to the world, our designs have to be better than what has ever been done in the history before. And this is what the Riyadh is doing. Riyadh has paid special attention to the design aspect and the aesthetics of whatever they're building. And they're building it with top perfection, better than anything anybody else has ever done. So that element of focusing on the interiors and the quality and the final finishes and the way it's done, and a lot of people don't understand, that what you see is the final works, but what the real quality is, what goes above the ceiling and under the floors and behind the walls. That is what they're focusing on. And how they're focusing that with the timelines that are so strict, and yet it's so successful, is what's phenomenal. Now, for example, Riyadh season, 3 months. 3 months is the day they announce it and the day they open it. 3 shifts of work, and it's just like a human being can't really imagine that this is actually going to happen, but it happens. And that's the willpower, and that's the energy that this city carries, and the leadership that carries along with it. So they are the pushing engines, and then it converts to it. So Riyadh is, I feel, is with the way the recent history has proven, with the way we've hosted the events, I think we're fully ready and geared to welcome the world for the FIFA as well as the Expo. With all the events that are going on here, MDL Beast and you name it, bigger than Tomorrowland. So those are things that we could not imagine 8 years ago. Like, not even in our wildest dreams we could imagine that would be happening here. But again, at the cost of repetition, I will say that the way it's been done so seamlessly is what's the amazing part. Building tall buildings, making nice railways and roadways and bridges and underpasses, that's a part of transformation, but that's not the real transformation. The real transformation is transforming or changing the minds of the people. And that is what's been done here so meticulously, immaculately well, that no matter, what you say is less for it. And this is, what Saudi brings to the table. If someone's thinking about opening up a food and beverage or getting into that industry line, this is the right time, because we are about to experience an unprecedented number of visitors in Saudi Arabia because of Expo and then the World Cup. So it's a very vibrant industry to be connected to. And we build a lot of the F&B and the retail outlets and those facilities, and we design for them. And now, even in that era of aspect of work, what Saudi is doing amazing is concentrating really a lot on sustainable structures. We in Saudi, up until the last year, there were only 900 certified structures by the United States Green Building Council. And those are certified sustainable structures. Having like 344,000 registered contracting firms, 900 is a very small number. We have delivered 6 of those sustainable structures. So it's amazing, it's hard, yes, but is it worth it? For sure. In our community, there's a saying that you either make good friends in high school or you make good friends in Riyadh. So, and it's true, because this is a place where, we've lived earlier, and I have a lot of close friends. By the time you cross the age 35, you don't really click with people in a way where, when you were younger, you do. So I have a huge social circle, but I tend to keep about 5 or 6 very close friends, and they show up. For example, we're working inside the King Abdullah Financial District, CAF. So I'm fully occupied with work most of the times, visiting sites, consuming all my time in developing the business and growing it. So we tend to, meet up in CAF. Whenever, I'm visiting a site, they'll drop by, they're like, let's, have dinner here, shisha, or just sit down, chill out, have some coffee. So having close friends with you, and that says a lot about the person as well. Like if somebody has 4 or 5 good people vouching for him for 30 years, that says, something about those friends as well as the friend that they vouch for. So I try my best to, even though we're busy, everybody's busy in their life, but we try our best to, take out at least one day a week to meet up, catch up, and, just let each other vent out of all our business stress. So it's interesting. The cultural element of Saudi Arabia is very deep-rooted. It's very strong, and there is a good tribal value system that they live their life with, and it's very heartwarming to see that while they are modernizing and moving so fast, coping up with the world and challenging the world in a way to come and see what we're doing. But having the cultural bond at the same time, maintaining those two things, it's a big challenge, and the way they're doing it is amazing, and we really get inspired by how they do it, because a lot of the countries, when they move with fast forward technological eras, they somehow miss out on the element of the family culture and the bond and the historical heritage of how the families used to be and the culture used to be. So the way they're balancing it out, and even like Daraya Gate, which is one of the mega projects, it depicts actually the culture of the Saudi, the actual real 100-200-year-old culture. So that kind of symbolizes what the whole vision is about. Daraya Gate is one of the founding roots of the Vision 2030, and that having the whole ambience of how they used to be. It's kind of like, telling the world, hey, we're moving, ahead of you, but at the same time, we're remembering where we came from. What keeps me going is a verse from the Quran, actually, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha, where, through the hard times when you feel that everything is not going your way, and there's a week where, you don't feel like waking up, going to the office, and, you feel like everything's going. And that one verse of the Quran, it says, He will not burden you beyond your capacity. And then He says, He doesn't go against His promises. So those are the two verses that have been very close to my heart. And, you're like, even on a tough day, that there is somebody watching over you. And that one verse has been my real motivation for work, because we have, in COVID, all businesses went through a lot of challenges, and likewise did we. So, and that's when people start doubting you, and that's when people start, pointing fingers at you, despite it not being your fault. And those are the days, when you actually, fall down, get back up, dust your clothes, get back on the horse, and go for another war, trusting in a superior power above you. So yeah, that's what keeps us energetic, motivated, and keep us going every day, day in, day out. If you are anyone that's planning to move to Saudi, other than listening to all the media and all that's already here, now the government has made so much easier for it to come and visit with your visa. So come in, see what's happening, experience it for a week, 2 weeks, and then you'll love what you're signing up for. So my advice to anybody that's thinking of coming to Saudi Arabia is come for a visit, and then you'll be sold. Today was a beautiful day spent with the camera team, with the hosts, and with the anchors. We thoroughly enjoyed, my team and I. We got to visit a couple of our projects, and the camera team was amazing. I want to give hats off to them for being so tolerant with us. Construction sites were not something they were comfortable at, but we thank them for being, visiting us, adding value to us, giving us new insights and inspiration, as not being from our industry. So it was a day, a very productive day, well planned, and I want to give hats off to the whole team behind this thing. When you're watching it on camera, it's one thing, but the craziness that goes behind the scene is so hats off to all the people that were a part of this journey. हम यहाँ पर 9 साल से रेजिडेंट्स हैं सऊदी में, और तमाम पाकिस्तानी को कहना चाहेंगे कि सफ़ारा पाकिस्तान तैयार है आपको हर तरीके से मदद करने के लिए, और हमारी पूरी बिज़नेस कम्युनिटी यहाँ पर है जो बहुत वाइब्रेंट है एज़ पाकिस्तानीज़। तो जब आप आएँ हमसे कनेक्ट करें, हमारे फोरम्स हैं मुख्तलिफ, और हम आपको गाइड करेंगे स्टेप बाय स्टेप कि कैसे करना है, बिकॉज़ विजन 2030 के लिए हमें बहुत सारा टैलेंट चाहिए, और आप लोग आके विजन 20 तरफ कंट्रीब्यूट करें, बिकॉज़ द विजन नीड्स यू एंड यू नीड द विजन।